Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for May the 28th of 2020. And man, do we have some gaming news to dive into today. For those that are nostalgia-driven gamers out there, the Xbox Series X may be the console for you because Microsoft has discussed the backward compatibility program in full, and that includes some pretty big enhancements like HDR and 120 frames per second on older legacy games. Today, Jason Ronald, Partner Director of Program Management for the Xbox Platform team, discussed the innovations the company is bringing to backward-compatible games on the Xbox Series X. Thousands of backward-compatible titles will feature high dynamic range and quick resume, but also the ability to increase the resolution or double the frame rate. The company said the following in a press release Windows Central received, and Microsoft has spent a lot of time testing Xbox 360 and original Xbox games on the Xbox Series X. With more than 100,000 hours of playtesting already completed, thousands of games are already playable on the Xbox Series X today, from the biggest blockbusters to cult classics and fan favorites. Many of us in Team Xbox play on the Xbox Series X daily as our primary console, and switching between generations is seamless. By the time we launch this holiday, the team will have spent well over 200,000 hours ensuring your game library is ready for you to jump in immediately. End quote. HDR. Backward-compatible games, including those made for Xbox 360 or the original Xbox, will get HDR through a new reconstruction technique. HDR, of course, adds more vibrant colors to these classics. Quote, backward-compatible games run natively on the Xbox Series X hardware, running with the full power of the CPU, GPU, and the SSD. No boost mode, no downclocking, the full power of the Xbox Series X for each and every backward-compatible game. This means that all titles run at the peak performance that they were originally designed for, many times even higher performance than the game saw on their original launch platform, resulting in higher and more steady frame rates and rendering at their maximum resolution and visual quality. Backward-compatible titles also see significant reductions in in-game load times from the massive leap in performance from our custom NVMe SSD, which powers the Xbox Velocity architecture. In partnership with the Xbox Advanced Technology Group, Xbox Series X delivers a new innovative HDR reconstruction technique which enables the platform to automatically add HDR support to games. As this technique is handled by the platform itself, it allows us to enable HDR with zero impact to the game's performance, and we can also apply it to Xbox 360 and original Xbox titles developed almost 20 years ago, well before the existence of HDR. Quick Resume is also going to be coming to backward compatibility. The new Quick Resume feature was designed to not only work with new games, but it can also be enabled for backward compatible titles. Quick Resume enables players to resume exactly where they left off across multiple titles, ensuring gamers can get right back to the fun in an instant. All of these advances happen at the platform level and require no additional work from title developers. And of course, resolution and frame rate. The Xbox Series X pushes backward-compatible games further by increasing the resolution up to 4K and allowing you to increase the frame rate. For example, you can make 30 frames per second run at 60 frames per second and 60 FPS run at 120. Quote, techniques such as the Huchi method, I believe I said that correctly. Huchi? Perhaps Huchi might not be the best terminology, but regardless. The Huchi method, which enables titles to render with increased resolutions up to 4K, or applying anisotropic filtering to improve the final image quality, bring these classic games up to modern standards better than ever before. The compatibility team has invented brand new techniques that enable even more titles to run at higher resolutions and image quality while still respecting the artistic intent and vision of the original creators. We are also creating whole new classes of innovations, including the ability to double the frame rate of a select set of titles from 30 FPS to 60 FPS or 60 FPS to 120 FPS. The biggest innovation appears to be the ability to double the frame rate. This should improve controls because increasing the frame rate reduces input lag, says the author at PC Gamer. And which feature are you looking forward to the most, they ask. So, first and foremost, very big set of features coming to backward compatibility that are going to improve playing older games and modernize in a way. You often hear talk about rose-colored glasses in the world of gaming. Whenever you go back and play some childhood classics, the modern amenities that we experience in many of the games that come out today make the older classics just kind of seem lackluster, for lack of a better term. And so when we're talking about the backwards compatibility on the Xbox Series X, it seems like the initiative, the goal here, is to improve the experience of playing these older games. And when I'm reading through this, although there is a lot of new technology here, it seems like more than ever the Xbox Series X is just a gaming PC with a fancy name. Because if you play older games on PC, you do get higher frame rates. You can mess with the resolution. Essentially, it seems like the compatibility team at Xbox is just kind of doing the heavy lifting for you. It's optimizing the process of improving the quality of the games that a gaming PC would normally play. And so I would love to see how it's going on behind the scenes, the technology powering this, but I do hope that it works out well, because backwards compatibility is a big deal for a lot of people, and if you have thousands of games already playable, that's a lot of an incentive. It's a very big reason why somebody might go ahead and jump on board with the Xbox Series X, because they've already got a giant library of games they can play, and they don't have to go spend hundreds of dollars buying new experiences as soon as the console launches. But I do want to admit here that this is still not going to be a system seller, at least not for the extended future. Because when you think about a new piece of hardware, although backwards compatibility and enhanced backwards compatibility is a phenomenal advancement, it's a phenomenal point to have on your bullet-pointed list when it comes to why you should pick up an Xbox Series X, people buy a next-gen console for the next-gen experiences. People don't necessarily adopt a new piece of hardware immediately because it can play the older games. If I wanted to play Xbox 360 games, I'd buy an Xbox 360 for 50 or 60 bucks on eBay. If I wanted to play original Xbox games, I'd buy an Xbox from a yard sale for $10 or $15 and head to eBay and buy some classic games that I wanted to play. Now again, I understand that enhancements have been made, improvements are going to be made, that make the experience of playing these classics a better feeling overall on the Xbox Series X, but I need to see the new games that are going to be playable only on the Xbox Series X. I've got to see why I need to buy Microsoft's next-gen console. Otherwise, Sony still is going to come out on top, because I think about PlayStation 5, I think about God of War 2, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, the new Spider-Man games, presumably coming from Insomniac. I see a lot of these big titles that I am ready to play, and they also have backwards compatibility. Now, is it going to be to this degree? That's still yet to be seen. But we should be getting more information about PlayStation's plans in the coming weeks, because we have a rumored event on June the 3rd, which is next Wednesday, so it could be coming up very soon. But make no mistake, this backwards compatibility program at Microsoft is a very big deal that definitely shows they have been doing their homework, and they have been making some pretty big advancements when it comes to the backwards compatibility on the Xbox ecosystem. But Nightdive has released a new System Shock remake demo with unlockable weapons, and it explains more about what's happening behind the scenes with System Shock 3, which has been up in the air for a number of days. Nightdive Studios' System Shock remake has been in the works for quite a while now, and it wouldn't be surprising if fans felt concerned about the future after Tencent took over System Shock 3's development. The project's still definitely underway at Nightdive, though. In fact, the developer has just released a demo of the game with all of its unlockable weapons for the first time. The studio explained that the remake gives the game a new look and feel, and that it retains the story, style, and gameplay of the original cyberpunk action-adventure title. System Shock is set in the year 2072 and revolves around a hacker whose story begins when they were caught trying to access files about a space station. It was originally released back in 1994 for PC and inspired newer popular games like Deus Ex and BioShock. When it was confirmed that Chinese conglomerate Tencent was going to take the System Shock franchise forward and taking over the third entry's development, Nightdive clarified that it only acquired the rights to make sequels. Fans can grab the new demo from GOG or Steam, or watch Nightdive's video of it with developer commentary below. So this seems to be okay news. I'm glad to see that System Shock's remake is still in the works, but when it comes to System Shock 3, fans aren't going to be happy, and the PC gaming community overall has kind of had a backlash against Nightdive and against Tencent, as the PC gaming community tends to do. And of course, understandably so, Tencent is becoming a very looming figure in the world of gaming, and it is a bit shocking to see Nightdive kind of sell the rights, but hey, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to keep the studio open and to keep your team working on projects. But the System Shock remake demo is out now if you do want to play on GOG or Steam, and you can give it a shot. If you are a fan of newer games like Deus Ex or Bioshock, you might be interested in it. And it looks like this developer deep dive is a little beefy. That's 40 minutes and 46 seconds of gameplay. And you can clearly see the inspiration that led to the creation of Bioshock and games like it. But it looks very good. I'm interested to learn more about this game and see where it goes. Right now, of course, the video says that it's in alpha, so it will be a while before we see the release, but it is in the works. However, Electronic Arts, the NFL, and the NFLPA announced a groundbreaking multi-year global partnership. That means more Madden is coming your way. Today, Electronic Arts, the National Football League, and the NFL Players Association announced a multi-year renewal to their partnership, making this the biggest and widest-reaching gaming agreement in NFL history. Under the partnership, the EA Sports Madden NFL franchise will exclusively create authentic football simulation games, and EA Sports, the NFL, and the NFLPA will partner to develop games in new genres, expanded esports programs, and additional experiences for fans across more platforms. The agreement comes at a time when the world is playing and watching more Madden NFL than ever before, as NFL fandom worldwide continues to grow. Madden NFL 20 is the most successful game in franchise history. Unique players have grown by 30% year over year. Monthly average players have reached an all-time high. More than 330 million hours of the game has been played, and over 1 billion minutes has been watched on Twitch since launch. In just the month of April alone, player levels have nearly doubled from last year, and great community and celebrity athlete competitions broadcast throughout the month led to the equivalent of 2,600 NFL seasons of Madden NFL 20 content watched by viewers around the world. Madden NFL Esports also had its biggest year yet, with broadcasts on ESPN, ESPN2, and FS1, bringing Madden NFL competitive programming to tens of millions of fans. And so the domination continues. Of course, you can get a first look at Madden NFL 21 on June the 1st, 2020, which is a bit of a buried lead here. We now know when we are going to be seeing more about the next big Madden game, and this is going to be the first Madden game, presumably coming to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So from what I read, this new agreement extends out to around 2026. Of course, we can do a bit of a Google to confirm these numbers, but it does look like we are going to be getting more NFL coming your way in the form of Madden. So the football simulation games will be made through 2026 via, of course, EA Sports and collaboration, whatever you want to call it, with the NFL. And then there is also kind of an important clause here where it can be extended by 1 year, which inevitably it is going to be extended and then probably renewed at that point in time. So in reality, you can see and bet on 7 more years of Madden NFL. Of course, coming to you from EA Sports, Madden will never go away. I feel like the brand is just too big, and it is one of the better sports simulation games out there. My problem with Madden is always that each and every year it seems like marginal improvements are made, but overwhelmingly it still feels the same as it did back in 2008 to 2010, whenever a big kind of new version of the game came into being. But of course, Madden's still one of my favorite sports games of all time and very, very popular, especially in a world where the pandemic has essentially eliminated any kind of live sports. We're kind of stuck at home watching Madden, if we are all being honest. So again, June the 1st, you are going to be seeing some more information about the brand new Madden NFL title. But coming soon, Resident Evil is going to be getting an announcement on June the 10th, according to a notification from Resident Evil ambassadors. The summer of disparate game announcements continues. After E3 was mishandled, canceled due to COVID-19, and then failed to produce any kind of online digital show as a replacement, developers and publishers have taken it upon themselves to set their own announcement dates and schedules. Lining right up with when E3 2020 would have had a pandemic and mismanagement not gotten in the way, Capcom apparently has some kind of Resident Evil announcement happening on June the 10th. According to a notification sent to high-ranking Resident Evil ambassadors, they are being told to expect an announcement on June the 10th. The text at the bottom of the image simply reads, "A Resident Evil announcement will happen on June 10th, 2020. Without further details or hints, we are only left to speculate about what Capcom could be announcing. Is it another Resident Evil remake? Will we finally get to see Resident Evil 8 after mountains of alleged leaks and rumors about the game?" I think we're going to be seeing Resident Evil 8. This seems to be the kind of common thought in the community because we just got the Resident Evil 3 remake, which was well received but not as praised as Resident Evil 2 remake. So it's kind of time to release something a bit new, a bit fresh, and with rumors of a Silent Hill game, this could be the perfect time for the guys at Capcom to say, hey, guess what? We got another Resident Evil 7-esque game coming your way, a first-person horror game, if you will. I would love to see it. So we will be getting more news on June the 10th. But the next Fortnite season has been delayed one more week. You will have to wait until June the 11th to get a taste of what is new. So, if you wanted to get caught up in the third season of Fortnite Chapter 2, it will not be as dramatic as the first. Epic has pushed back Season 3's premiere by 1 week to June 11th in order to, quote, get everything ready. To tide people over, it's planning a one-time event, The Device, for June the 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll want to sign in early on that day as space is limited, Epic said. Fortnite seasons used to last roughly a couple of months, but Chapter 2's first and second seasons were both extended to 4. The current season was originally meant to wrap up on May the 1st, although Epic has not explained just what prompted the more recent delays. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic did not help by forcing staff to work from home. I write this, or I include this in today's show because of the fact that I saw a tweet from one of the devs at Epic Games, and they have 1,000 plus individuals working from home. Do you know how difficult that must be to maintain the world's biggest game while working from your kitchen table or even your computer setup, whatever it might be? That still is a very hefty task. So the fact that Fortnite is even still standing is impressive to me. But I couldn't imagine launching these record-breaking events from the comfort of my home. That seems like something that would be a bit stressful, a bit tiresome, a bit troublesome, but it seems like we are going to be getting Fortnite Season 3 of Chapter 2, or is it Chapter 2 Season 3? Whatever you want to call it, in just a couple of days. You'll just have to wait about one more week. Of course, I haven't played Fortnite since probably September, so I don't know what's happening in the game. But if you want to get a freebie, or a couple of freebies technically, Borderlands The Handsome Collection is the next free game on the Epic Game Store. Since the store debuted in December 2018, God, has it been that long? The Epic Game Store has had a nifty perk in the form of free games every week for store users. The past few weeks especially have had some big name titles up for grabs, with Borderlands' extensive Handsome Collection as the next game you can collect for free. The Epic Game Store has officially confirmed the Handsome Collection is now available as the next free game, which is, of course, available now through June the 4th. As with previous Epic Game Store freebies, all you have to do to claim the Handsome Collection for yourself is to log into the Epic Game Store and add it to your cart, well, it will automatically show up as free. The Handsome Collection was previously leaked a few weeks ago as one of the free titles coming to the Epic Game Store. The leaked image showed the Grand Theft Auto V, Civ 6, the Handsome Collection, and Ark Survival Evolved would be the next 4 titles up for grabs. So presumably Ark is going to be, of course, released as the free title after the Handsome Collection ends on June the 4th. For those that have not played it before, the Handsome Collection includes Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, along with all of their accompanying DLC and expansions since release, which is a pretty hefty amount of content. So, if you are a PC player and you want to check out Borderlands The Handsome Collection, it's free on the Epic Game Store, and you know what they say, free is for me. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below and let me know what you think about everything we talked about here today. Are you excited about the Xbox Series X and the new backward compatibility enhancements that are going to be coming to some of your favorite classic games? Would love to hear your thoughts on that piece of news. But until tomorrow, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.